Hello, this video is going to help you set up a simple monthly budget by using Excel and some basic calculations. Alright, the first thing you need to do is open a new Excel workbook and give it a name. I like to use the name that includes the date, such as budget 2019, 01, or 02, and then each month you could just rename it and use the same document. So let's do that now. In my folder and save. Now that we have the document set up, we just need to set up some headings. So we're just going to do that by adding the bill. That'll be the name of the company we owe, a due date, and then a paid column, which is basically like a checkbox, the amount. I like to have some notes in case I need to write myself a note, and that's it. All right, and then I would just make these a little bit bold and maybe just a little bit bigger, so they stand out. Now, you're going to need a little more space, so we're just going to open that up so we can write that in easier. If you just double click on that, it will auto size, and then maybe make my notes a little bit bigger. On this column, we want to choose the whole column, and we want to right click, and we want to say we want to format these cells for currency, 2 decimal places, $sign, and I like to use this red one. Click OK. Okay, we're going to start adding bills, and I've just kind of made up some here. Your rent or mortgage, the date it's due. We're not going to put anything in that box yet. And then the amount, for this instance, it's going to be $725. And then we would just continue filling out our bills. Let me do that. All right, as you can see, I filled this in with several different types of bills you might have. But you might say, hey, what about gas, groceries, clothes, cash? I generally keep that in one lump sum that I add on continuously to that. And let me show you how to do that. And this is what I call miscellaneous. Stuff you buy every month, so you do need to include it. Now what we're going to do here is create a calculation. So in Excel you can do that by hitting equals to and then add some information in there. So for instance, I filled up the card. To that I'm going to add some groceries that I bought. To that I'm going to say I took $40 out in cash. To that I'm going to say I bought a sweater, and I'm going to hit enter. Now notice how that turned into one calculation here, but if I look up here, now I can see each one of those items. And this is kind of a good way to keep track of what you're spending. Maybe I can cut back on something and save a little money if I need to that month. Now let's do some totaling. First thing I want to do is draw a line here. I think a bottom border would be great. And now we're going to do some calculation. All right, now we're going to get a total of our expenses. And to do that in Excel, we can use a formula called sum. If you just hit equals and start typing sum, you'll see the formula comes up right there. We're just going to double click that. Now it's asking us for our first number. We're going to say we're starting here. And then we're just going to select this whole line down to where we drew the line and hit enter. Now you see we get a figure here. But if we come up here and look at the formula, it includes all of these items. And we see how much we're spending. How much do we have to spend? Let's find out. So our balance from last month plus our income. We're going to just use a formula with, we're going to say equals, and we're going to look at our bank statement and see what our balance was last month. Add to that our income for the month. Now down here, we want to calculate the difference. To do that, we're going to, again, have a formula, and we're going to say this is going to be equal to our income minus sign our expenses, enter. And this is how much we have left over. However, you will probably continue to have expenses throughout the month, and then continue adding those in. As you do, let's say we went to McDonald's. We went to a movie. Notice every time I change this, I'm also changing my expense total, which is also changing my difference. And let's say we took out $200 in cash, and now you can see it's going down and down and down. Remember to always keep a buffer of money in here. So let's say you set a threshold of $800. Keep that in your notes section and say, I never want this amount to get below this amount. So in my mind, I think, oh, I have a few hundred more I could spend throughout the month. All right, great. Well, I hope this was helpful.